We're on the clock now, where we give this group a minute to review more stories from this week's news. The Democratic gubernatorial hopefuls' campaign finance reports are out, and they show Alan Weber has received the most funds at more than $800,000. Although he has contributed or loaned his campaign more than half that amount. He is followed in order by Lawrence Real, Gary King, Howie Morales, and last, Linda Lopez. Meanwhile, Governor Susana Martinez, who's already got $4.2 million in her campaign treasury, will soon benefit from a fundraiser to be held near Washington, D.C. with some heavy hitters from the party. Rob, excluding the money he's given to his campaign, Mr. Weber has raised the highest percentage of out-of-state money of all the candidates. That's the part that really caught my eye. Your sense of that one?
Well, $800,000 is a decent amount of money. It does not much in comparison.
Why do we call it 400,000?
Oh, okay, that's right.
Right.
And then, but it pales in comparison to what the governor has.
Right.
I think a lot of the what's happening with the Democrats is, since it's a five-person race, there's five candidates that don't have a whole lot of name recognition, and the money is in many ways tied to the name recognition.
Sure. Is getting money from Mort Zuckerman out of New York for Alan Weber, are those kind of things problematic? Because he does talk about other people raising money out of state. Is that a difficulty for him?
I don't think they're problematic at all anymore. I mean, I think in years past, those things were problematic as we came into where we are now in terms of fundraising. You know, it's interesting to me that Alan Weber was right on par with Lawrence and others about what he raised in New Mexico. So even though he raised more out of state and he had more to put in personally, but when you talk about, you know, not having much name recognition, people forget that the King name has been building its identity in this state for over 40-some years.
That's right. That's right.
And that is worth more than $4.2 million.
That's right. But why can't Mr. King raise more money? Ms. Denish makes a good point.
I sort of question, I think it's a question of whether he's trying, and that I think is challenging, because one of the real benefits, sort of side benefits of going out and raising money is that you connect with, at least in the state, with voters, with advocates. You make that connection that you're going to need later.
Interesting. Dan?
Yeah, I mean, the least of Alan Weber's problems, I think, getting elected to governor in New Mexico is where he's raising his money from. I just think, though, the problem is, you know, the Democrats are running. You look at all the candidates that are running. There's some good people running. 4.2 million, sitting governor with a 60% approval rating. I just don't think a lot of people are saying, let's waste our money trying to take down Susana Martinez. I think that money's going to go to House races, Senate races, and try to make a difference in the legislature.
Can I just ask one more question on Dan's point there? Is it a major problem that the DGA had said no money's coming for a gubernatorial candidate here, or would you anticipate that changing down the road?
I think that's probably disappointing to the candidates, but you know, there's still time until the race, and when the race heats up and we start to see polling, when there's a real candidate out there and not just one of five candidates, I think it makes a difference. But I want to just say something about what Sophie said about, you know, the way you raise money these days does not connect you to voters.
Gotcha.
You do it over social media. You know, these little 20-person fundraisers, you can't possibly raise enough money in these small fundraisers to truly connect with voters.
Especially at that level.
Remember the Republican Congressional Campaign Committee wrote off Bill Redmond, and then when that poll came out within 3 weeks of the election saying he was in striking distance, tens of millions of dollars showed up to New Mexico.
And I think that's what Sam Bregman was getting at. In essence, I heard him say, we're going to give them a reason to give us money. Basically, it's on us to get us close enough. Now, new subject, 2 sculptures will be installed at the Memorial Park on the grounds of the National Hispanic Cultural Center. A modern abstract sculpture honoring Vietnam veterans, was originally chosen over a traditional model depicting Pete Padilla and Manuel Mora, the 2 veterans for whom the Memorial Park is named. But the families of the men protested, wanting the statue of their sons to reside in the rebuilt park, especially after the original park was raised in '99 to make way for the Cultural Center. Diane, this compromise may cost more, but it seems like this is a worthy effort in the long run for everybody concerned.
You know, if you know those families down there, you can understand how critically important it was to them. But I want to say, I think this showed real leadership on the part of the new director of the Hispanic Cultural Center. She went to the families. She knew there was a way that it had to happen. And, you know, she really, she came with, as an attorney, you know, not necessarily, this is not, but she used that negotiating background to make this happen. I just think that's a real coup for her.
Rob, your thought on this one?
I think this is probably a good idea, because after all, the park is named after Mr. Padilla and Mr. Mora.
That's a very good point. Sophie? Yeah.
It's as much as I love good art, I think it is important to recognize the feelings of the families.
Yeah, I think that we have a problem in New Mexico, and we have had for a long time, that we name something after someone, and then a little time goes by, and we say, well, we're just going to redo it under something else. There was a reason it was done that way the first time. You have to honor and respect the people and the people who sacrificed that. That's why it's named the way it's named, and you need to keep them in mind when you're making these decisions.
Very much so. You guys want to do some on the clocks online?
Sure.
I got some good ones.
Okay.
Cost of education, farmers getting better wages, farmers, workers. I mean, stick around. Thank you all for being here. See you next time. As always, all of us here at New Mexico in Focus appreciate your time and your effort to stay informed and engaged. Catch up with us anytime on social media by searching New Mexico in Focus, and you can find archived interviews and bonus material from our shows on our YouTube channel and at newmexicoinfocus.org. I'm Gene Grant. We'll see you next week in Focus.